All right, let's just get right into it. The world is literally on a knife's edge right now. We're watching a situation that could explode into a massive conflict at any second. I mean, the stakes, they couldn't be higher. And the fuse, well, it's about as short as it gets.
And that brings us to this number, 48 hours. That's it. That's the deadline. The United States has apparently told Iran they have exactly 48 hours to fall in line. Not a week, not even a few days, a 2-day ultimatum. Can you believe that? It sent absolute shockwaves around the planet.
And this one quote really says it all. The world map is about to change. Just think about that for a second. This isn't just some small regional fight. We're talking about something that could literally redraw the map, changing borders and who's allied with who forever.
So the big question is, how on earth did we get to this point? Well, it all boils down to a major standoff. You've got both sides absolutely digging their heels in, refusing to budge on what they call their red lines.
And what's kind of wild is the timing of all this. I mean, look, there are negotiations scheduled in Geneva for the 26th, a last-ditch effort, you could say. But here's the kicker. Even before anyone sits down at the table, you have Israeli officials already saying, yep, it's going to fail. That just ramps up the tension even more, right? And this is the heart of the problem. It's a total deadlock. On one side, you have the U.S. saying you have to completely dismantle your entire nuclear program, period. And on the other side, Iran's position is, no way. We are not fully abandoning our program. There's just no middle ground, nowhere to go from here.
So, for the U.S., Iran's refusal to back down, that's it. That's the red line. And if it's crossed, well, the consequence is a major war that could set the entire Middle East on fire.
Okay, but while all this drama is unfolding out in the open, something else is happening behind the curtains. A new alliance seems to be forming, and it might just be pulling some of the strings here.
Now check out this timeline. You tell me if this looks like a coincidence. On day 1, the 25th, India's Prime Minister Modi is in Israel meeting with Netanyahu. The very next day, you have those critical U.S.-Iran talks in Geneva. I mean, back-to-back like that? It really makes you wonder if there's a coordinated strategy going on.
And what were they supposedly talking about? Well, according to what we're seeing, this wasn't your standard diplomatic chat. The topics on the table were things like AI tech, regional security, and then you get to the heavy stuff, a strategy for Iran, and, get this, even plans for regime change. That's a whole different level.
So, with diplomacy basically on life support and these new alliances taking shape, everything starts to pivot. The focus shifts away from the negotiating table and straight to the battlefield, where things are heating up fast. But before we get into the ships and the missiles, there's a number we have to talk about, a really heavy one. 4.5 million. According to the information we have, that's the number of Muslim deaths allegedly caused by U.S. and Israeli actions just this century.
And if you break that number down, it gets even more devastating. 1 million are from direct conflict. You know, the fighting itself. But the vast majority, 3.5 million, are from the indirect fallout. Things like famine, poverty, entire societies just collapsing. It's a staggering human cost.
And this is what it looks like on the ground. It's a region gearing up for all-out war. You've got the U.S. and Israel with a massive naval presence. We're talking unprecedented. And they've brought in weaponry that's supposedly even more advanced than what they used in Iraq. Their goal? To take out Iran's missile and nuclear sites. And Iran's response? They've moved their ballistic missiles to the border, basically saying, you come after us, Israel is our #1 target.
So as that 48-hour clock is just ticking away, we're left with these final bone-chilling warnings and a really interesting look at the people caught in the middle of this war machine.
Yeah, this is something you don't always hear about, the internal pressure. There are reports coming out that U.S. sailors, some of whom have been at sea for 9 straight months, are just demoralized. They're worn out and apparently want to leave the Navy. It's a reminder there's a human cost on every side, and you have to wonder, what does low morale do in a situation this tense? It's a total wild card.
And then there's Iran's final word, and it is as blunt as it gets. If attacked, our first target will be Israel. We will use all our resources to wipe it off the map. Wow, there's no room for interpretation there. It's an absolute all-in threat. They're saying if a single shot is fired, their response will be total. So here we are. The clock is basically at 0. The ultimatum's been given, the pieces are all in place on the chessboard, and the threats couldn't be clearer. It all comes down to one single, terrifying question. What happens next?